Another one of our core methodologies in the collective is something called Bless. And Bless is a practical methodology for evangelism. And we got this from Dave and John Ferguson, who wrote a book called Bless, which we highly recommend that you check out and read. But what they've done in this methodology is they have helped us understand how Jesus practically did ministry in his day-to-day. And what did Jesus do? He began with prayer. That's the B. He started everything with prayer. His ministry started with prayer. Before he called the disciples, he began with prayer. Before he did so many things, he started with prayer. And when we think of this as an evangelistic work, like we have to begin by praying for the lost in our lives, praying for those around us that don't know Jesus. Maybe that's live in a moment, and maybe that's a long-term commitment to somebody in your life. But it doesn't stop there. It goes on to the L, which is listen. Right. We have to set ourselves up as listeners. Jesus was a master listener. It said that he was asked something like 300 questions, and he only answered directly 3. Yeah. Because he asked questions back. Right. Because that's how you engage in conversation. Right. We have to be really good listeners in order to show people that we actually care about what's going on in their lives. Right. And guess what? When we listen, people will share details about their lives that'll inform our prayers for them.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Then we move to the E, which is eat. We want to look for opportunities to spend intimate time with people. There's few things that accelerate a relationship like a shared meal. Jesus ate with people all the time. Right? So much of his ministry was based around food. Right? And so we have to get in the same mindset. We need to invite people into our homes, invite people into what we're doing in our day-to-day. We eat something like 1,400 or 1,500 meals a year if you include like coffee breaks.
Yeah, it's insane.
And so if we can invite somebody into one of those a month, like you're already eating, so let's do that, right? So that's the E. The next is S for serve. Look for opportunities to serve people, to be the hands and feet of Jesus. That doesn't just mean pulling weeds. Right. That can look like sharing your heart with someone, sharing a prayer for someone, sharing a podcast that you like or a Bible verse that you just read. Yeah. Right? And then we move to the final S, which is story. Right. And this is sharing your story with Jesus. People need to hear your story with Jesus, who you were before you met him, how you met him, and who you are now because you have met him. And that's the simplest way to really share Jesus with another human being, is sharing your personal story. We're not throwing Bible verses at them, right? It's just sharing your story.
Yeah. And I love that you said it's simple. You know, I remember when you first introduced this to me and how overwhelmed I was with what Jesus was calling me into. And you said, Cole, why don't you just go there and bless them? And I said, what do you mean? What do you mean? And you explained everything that you just said. And the amount of opportunities that opened up to be able to go into, I mean, we gather in a bar. And so to walk in there and like, just pray over the stools, pray over the place, pray over the staff, listen to them. Well, what's the best way to listen to them? Well, they're serving food there all the time and the game is always on. And so you sit there and eat. And when you do that, they start to explain things to you like, you know, we would really love to get a couple of TVs up here. We'd really love for these ones to be in sync. And Lord literally went, hey, guess what? You're perfectly equipped to do that. And you know what? I'm actually asking you also to fit the bill for it. And so we were able to do that. They were so taken back by why we would do that. Why in the world would you do that? And we had a chance to share our story. And that happened. What's amazing is it happened, like you were talking about, it happened over the course of really a conversation, but it also happened over the course of a football season. And so it took a very overwhelming and foreign situation and it made it very, very simple. And as I've gotten to know these individuals, it's now becoming a guide to help them replicate it as well. And so we're going to unpack this a whole lot more, but this is just kind of an overview. Again, we want you to be familiar with this language. And I'm telling you, it is a game changer. It was so helpful for me. I know it's been helpful for you. And we believe it'll be helpful for you as well.